It's after midnight, and it's time for conversations about love, family, friends, sex, and life. It's Love and Life with Carol Riddick and Donovan West, only on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family, and welcome to yet another episode of Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. I am your host, Carol Riddick, and I am always happy to spend some time with you. You know that I am. My alternating co host, Donovan West, sends his love as always. You know, I have to tell you that he does. He says, don't you forget. In any event, I hope that you're making out well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, for, hanging out with us. We know that you don't have to be here, and we appreciate so much that you are. We appreciate all the love you give. So, our guest today, because I'm so excited to share with you. Our guest today is a phenomenal woman, yet another one. She's a singer, songwriter, label owner to D-Tone Victorious, an author, actor, one half of the duo, and more. And she is the current chapter president for the Philadelphia chapter of the Recording Academy, erroneously referred to as the Grammys. I have to let you know. I'd like you to welcome, family, Dawn Thompson Morelli, aka DONN T.
Hello.
Hey there, lady.
Hey. What a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. I'm a fan of you. I'm a fan
Oh,
of the show. Um, yeah, and I'm looking forward to spending time and sharing about my love and my life.
what's interesting to me, I always tell our family members that I get to have my friends come and I get to share with them all of who you are, but it's always so interesting to me because as well as I think I know everyone, I don't know anything about anybody. I find that out all the time, all the time.
Absolutely.
But it's always wonderful.
We show up differently in different spaces. So, I mean, I think I mentioned to you, I'm really excited about doing the show because, you know, I have so many, ways that I've reinvented myself as an artist and, as a leader within the Recording Academy and all of that. I show up with a particular hat on, but I don't often, it's very rare that I get to show up with this hat and just talk very transparently about my experiences. As it relates to my life journey, my spiritual journey, my love journey, all of that,
I
and
love it.
with hopes of it resonating with somebody or whatever might happen.
I'm glad that you said that because I always say that I believe that something from everybody's journey can be helpful in some way to another person's journey. Some morsel, there's always a takeaway because I say at the end of every single episode that we're all in this together. I say that all the time because we are.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that we get to talk about you, about you. And I must say, so family, what you all may or may not know is that I'm the outgoing trustee for our chapter, and I did not talk about that very much, but what I want to do, and I want to do it publicly, is to thank you because you are such a natural born leader.
Mm,
It no, you have no idea, Don. It feels good, and it felt good to serve with you and to walk alongside you in that position. It was a wonderful thing to see And I don't say that lightly, because
Wow.
everybody cannot lead. Everybody is not born to be in that position, as we well know.
Right.
We all try and we do our best, but it comes to you so naturally. And I love that. Is one of the things that I love about you. Let me tell y'all, family, if Don sees an issue, there is no hesitation. There is no hesitation. And I love that. Don says, let's get to it. Let's fix it. Let's fix it. Let's fix it. I love that.
So some people experience, exist in life in the think tank, and I'm very much results oriented. I'm very much a doer, so that's true. But I have to pay the compliment right back to you. It's been an honor to serve with you, Carol. You've been, in so many ways, a mentor in this process, and I've just been so proud of all that you've done in this space. I've admired it. I've expressed it. But just the way that you support and care for so generously uh, with women and with Black women is just, it's a beautiful thing. And uh, I firmly believe, you know, you are one of two reasons why I sit in the seat of president of the Philadelphia chapter of the Grammys. I firmly believe that. So thanks
Don.
for modeling, as a former president in my seat what you did. She didn't know I was about to.
I did not
She's like,
know
oh,
that. Oh my goodness. You know what, Don? Thank you. First, thank you. I mean, thank you. And it means so much
yeah,
to receive that from you. And I say that for so many reasons, but I say that from the bottom of my heart. But also I am an advocate for helping the next next person, the next person. I'm such a strong advocate for. I want to help. I'm a person of service. I'm a caregiver and I'm a person of service. And something that we've not talked about. It may be an issue for us to talk about on the show. Maybe a girls thing we can talk about. But I didn't grow up receiving very much support from women outside of my family. It was I grew up with a lot of color issues because I was fair and fair. I had a fair complexion, so
sure.
that I never wanted to be that.
Yeah.
And I know I'm making this is so much deeper than but that's
Really?
from where it comes
within our community.
for me. Like I don't ever want to be that representation.
Right.
I want you to know that look, I've got your back. I want you to know that you've got a whole tribe. We are a tribe,
Yeah. And that's how change, real change occurs. And, I know that, you and I as artists, we hold space in a particular way. I'm you as a jazz artist, songwriter, and vocalist. And, I consider myself a very, okay, I have a joke to tell before I finish the sentence. I live right next door to a helicopter port. People are not expecting that. So, let me know if the helicopters, one's coming in for landing right now. Anyway.
No, we've all listen, I've got challenges going on over here. So
that's right. We're going to get it done though.
Yes, we are.
But, myself as a singer-songwriter, in the progressive soul genre. And, I kind of bend the boundaries a lot to include a bunch of alternative type things. But, this holding space thing is real. And you have to, in order to enlarge the venue or where we're existing, we have to partner, we have to support, and a lot of the old mindset has to go to the wayside.
Agreed.
So that we we reach the goal. Um,
Agreed.
and I have some more to say about that as we delve
No,
into.
listen, I want to hear all of it. Okay, I want to hear all of it, and I will say that I'm grateful because you, like I, when we talk about genre bending, we get to walk those different lines. Like get to perform in the R&B realm. I get to
Yeah,
perform in the jazz realm. We
yeah,
all of an alternative music realm, which is a beautiful thing. Talking about
absolutely.
change and talking about being able to do different things. But listen, I'm going to stop talking about me because I want everybody to know about you.
Right, right.
So, family, for those of you who are unaware, I am going to ask Dawn to tell you a little bit about her. So, Dawn, please tell us just a little bit about yourself, and can you
Okay.
please start with where you were born and raised? How about we start
I
there?
was born and raised in West Philadelphia, and but I'm a world traveler.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, have been so since I'm a kid. Um, Both of my parents are artists. I don't think you ever, you lose that. My late father was the
Mm-hmm.
legendary Lee Andrews. He is featured on the Philly Walk of Fame, and my mom was one of the first Black women. She's originally from Pittsburgh, of course, relocated to Philadelphia, um, before I was born, but was one of the first Black models to, grace billboards, at a time where it was, and sell product,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. So she was a classically trained ballerina and loved jazz music. My dad was, big advocate of gospel and country and rock and doo-wop, which was his thing. Um, I grew up in West Philadelphia with my family. For those who don't know it, my brother is the legendary Amir
Mm-hmm.
Questlove Thompson, and so it was a unique environment to be raised by artists. Um, we had we spent time with family.
Mm-hmm.
My parents toured, but they were, when they toured, they really toured. It wasn't the day job, so we lived on both coasts at
Mm-hmm.
certain times in our lives, with grandparents and aunts and uncles and that sort of thing, and went to school.
If I might interject for one moment, because I
Sure.
do want our family members to know your mother, mommy, is stunningly
Oh
beautiful.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Stunningly. I don't even want it to be, I don't want to wash over because Dawn said,
Yeah.
she was a model. She is still
Yeah, she's stunning.
stunningly beautiful.
Hmm.
And she is
Yeah.
so, I mean, I love her poise and her, I mean, she is so beautiful. I mean, you are beautiful, but she is
Thank
so,
you.
I
Yeah.
see from where it comes. But I also don't want to gloss over when you said your grandparents. Now, I, I may be incorrect, but please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Is your grandfather the one and only Beachy Thompson from the Dixie Hummingbirds?
Yes, so that's what,
Ah,
that's what we were told, my brother and I. It's very interesting. So we're going to pivot in a lot of different ways, within Black families and secrets and various, we never knew him. My last one of the last conversations I had with my dad, who passed about 4 years ago, was that, hey, that's what I was told. So we came to that discovery, um, and we humbly, listened to the information, took it in. But we are a family of, a long line of music makers, who made their mark uh, on society. I'm going to say in non-traditional ways. When I really look at our family, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that back, because I often grapple with the idea, and when I talked about who you and I are in music, just the embracing of genre building, and how, you know Black folk, we've created it all. We've created rock and country and all of the genres. We don't, today, we don't necessarily, look at it like, oh that's white folks' music, or it's all of
Mm-hmm.
our history, so I can say that, each of my family members in the music industry fully embrace that idea. And, always, all of them always had very diverse audiences, um, from all races, just,
All
we
backgrounds.
covered it all.
Yeah, no,
We're
that's a
getting it
beautiful thing.
we're
That's a
getting it.
beautiful legacy. It's
Yeah,
a rich legacy too.
it was modeled in my family home. I never grew up thinking, because my father had uh, this, gosh, it was probably, I'm not going to say it's 40,000 uh, vinyl record collection, but he just gathered music, and for a
Mm-hmm.
long period of time, I always just assumed that you know people approached music in the way that my parents did.
Oh
There
wow.
was a day, and say black people in particular, would sit around and listen to classical music, and listen to, you know, uh, big band,
Mm.
and,
Oh,
just uh, artists. So it helped me when, and I can't say there was a moment in time where I made the decision, but
mm-hmm.
it helped me in the journey of writing music for TV and film, which is one of the things that I do. I've written uh, songs for Ava DuVernay. And one of my songs, one of my earlier songs, "Waiting," appears in the Netflix and BET film "I Will Follow," and I've written for Lifetime TV, Sony Pictures, and my music has gotten a lot of placements
Mm-hmm.
because I take a very broad approach. Like the soul, as far as I'm concerned, is me.
I
It's my
love it.
soul, it's my heart, and but I definitely bend, to quite a few places, and so that's a part of it. Let's see. I'm a solo artist. Oh, go
Wait,
ahead.
wait. We are not going to gloss over. She said, "So I've written for Ava DuVernay, Lifetime. I mean, just a few, just to name a few. Miss, Miss, we are not glossing over any of that. Okay, I do. I want to talk about all of that a little deeply, a little more deeply. But I want to know, like, coming from such or having such strong musical bloodlines, at what age did you know that
Mm.
you wanted to be in the entertainment industry?
Okay, so there wasn't an age that I knew. There wasn't a moment in time. I think I alluded
Okay.
to that because
You did.
I have, you know, as early as I can remember, my parents, you know, would be rehearsing in the living room, uh, starting at 9 a.m. and go
Wow.
until midnight, 2 in the morning. So
Wow.
I mean, that level of commitment and diligence, and rehearsing harmonies and writing songs, and it was day in and day out. So the way that I experienced music early on was that it was something. It was just expression. It was just something that occurred. We were the loudest family on the block because of the rehearsals and the music. But I just thought, this is what everybody's doing. I never felt like we were standing out. And we grew up in a row home
Yeah.
in West Philly, and nobody called the police.
I
Nobody.
was
I don't even. To this day, I don't understand it.
Yeah, I was thinking you said West Philly and you said rehearsing from 9 a.m. until like the wee hours.
We were so disruptive. 50-second to no sage, and tight row, is like the ultra no space.
You know what that means? That means it was good
You were
music. That's
enjoying
what
it.
that means. That means that everybody was enjoying it. Nobody had a complaint. Okay,
You know what?
nobody.
They,
But
they absolutely.
the
So
well, I
go.
want to take a moment really quickly because like you, it's so interesting be talking to you because this is how we talk, family. This is how we talk. We
Yeah,
jump, we're all over the place, but that's
right.
that's the creative in us. But I want to take this moment to say welcome to Love and Life. If you've just tuned in, you are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, progressive Black talk media, on air and online at wordradio.com. And we are talking with none other than my friend, Donn T, Don Thompson Morelli. We're going to take just a short break. And when we come back, we're going to find out some more about Donn's life and her rich musical history. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
April is National Poetry Month.
Will they clone little black girls who won't die but fight, who supplement stamina for endless struggles to write? Will they clone little black girls like Asada, Sonia, Tubman, knowing what they know? Will they clone little black girls like Nikki, Zora, Mommy, Grandma, who orchestrate transmutation as they go under cloaks of duplicity and breaches staggering? Rhetorical, I know. Will they clone little black girls like Sojourner, Rosa, Fannie Lou, Frances Ellen, Maxine, Angela, Tony, who brave notwithstanding ghettos, guns, gloom, doom, distracted and detracted mothers mothering, who staved unequivocally and persevered, erasing all doubt of concession, digression, misconception, and their wonder? Will they clone little black girls with the integrity of legacy? Little black girls like me, like you, that won't die but fight. Will they clone little black girls? I know that's right.
That was Lois Moses on WURD, progressive Black talk media.
Imagine you on a deserted island all by yourself, or even being in a crowd of people yet still feeling alone. That's what being a victim of sexual assault can feel like. Victims of sexual assault are at an increased risk for developing depression, PTSD, substance abuse, eating disorders, and anxiety. Sexual assault can happen to anyone, and is any unwanted sexual contact such as unwanted touching, fondling, groping, or even rape. No always means no, so speak up and speak out. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Black Americans have died of COVID-19 at over 2 times the rate of white counterparts. This is due to systemic racism and healthcare disparities. Here are some tips for protecting yourself. Wear a mask covering your mouth and nose. Avoid crowds. Wash your hands with soap and water. Use alcohol-based sanitizers. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Practice social distancing and follow World Health Organization guidelines. Quarantine if you've been exposed to the virus. Self-isolate if you're experiencing symptoms. Seek medical attention if you experience difficulty breathing, a fever, cough, sudden confusion, or pressure in your chest. If you don't have health insurance or a healthcare provider, try contacting your state health department, community health clinics, or local hospitals for testing and treatment. Together, we can stay informed and empowered. This public service announcement is from the National Black Cultural Information Trust.
When I cross the finish line, it's not just me. I succeed because of others. When I was pregnant, I survived because of others. At 32 weeks, I was diagnosed with preeclampsia and had an emergency C-section. Because my doctor took quick action and my husband was there to help me, I'm alive. Too many women die of pregnancy-related complications, and most are preventable. If you or someone you know is pregnant or recently had a baby, learn the warning signs. It could help save her life. Hear her.
For the Indianapolis Colts, becoming a running back was no easy task for me. But it's nothing compared to what my amazing mom faces every day. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14 years old. Yet she's always there for me, every step of the way, despite her own battles. And the Muscular Dystrophy Association is there for my mom. At their 150 care centers across the U.S., MDA is the leading organization in research and care for kids and adults with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and related neuromuscular diseases. Their research is helping find cures and save lives. Watching my mom go through her daily struggles and the care she receives from MDA has made me determined to help find a cure for neuromuscular disease. That is why I support MDA, and that's why I'm so grateful to others who do too. Join me and learn more at helpmda.org today.
Hi, I'm Tanya Hopkins, aka The Food Griot, the host of Savory and Sweet, a new show about food, history, and culture. Savory and Sweet is a flavorful exploration of food marinated in the Black experience, seared with history and braised culture. Each week, I'll fold in conversations that center food and drink at the intersection of business, health and well-being, entertainment, education, and innovation, while separating the facts from fiction on the sometimes surprising origins of what we eat and drink. So join me, the Food Griot, and special guests for Savory and Sweet, Food, History, and Culture every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. beginning January 2nd, 2022, exclusively on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, Independent Black Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. So in case you don't remember, in case you didn't know, I am going to let you know that you can email us at loveandlife@wordradio.com. That's loveandlife@WURDradio.com. You can send us comments, questions, suggestions for topics that you'd like us to discuss, or you could even just say, hey, y'all. You could say hi. You could say, how are you doing? Because we love all of the love that you give us. I promise you we do. I promise you we do. So that's loveandlife@wordradio.com. Love and life at WURDradio.com. So I had to remind you of that. In any event, again, if you have just joined us, what you missed was the beginning of the conversation that I've been having with none other than Don Thompson Morelli, aka DONN T. So we talked about the possibility, of her being the granddaughter of the Dixie Hummingbirds' one and only Beachy Thompson. She's the daughter of the late Lee Andrews of Lee Andrews and the Hearts. She is the daughter of Jackie Andrews, who is amazingly, stunningly beautiful, and was once a member of Congress Alley, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
And whose brother is the legendary Questlove of The Roots.
Yeah.
I must say, I must repeat this too, because she did kind of throw out there that she's written some music that has been featured in projects by Ava DuVernay on Lifetime. Yeah.
Director and Zinga Stewart as well.
Mm.
So, and
So,
on Netflix and BET and BET Movies and Sony Pictures and
you know what? You
and
better get it.
I have to tell you, as an independent artist, I have a label, D-Tone Victorious. I've had major distribution through The Orchard and various, but quite coincidentally, and this is not to put the hustle aside. Um, many people have found my music online, and
Nice.
that was how, I got um, as many of the placements, um, that I did. I've written for Showtime as well, a crime series there some many years ago. So yeah,
I
that.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love. No, this is, you know what I love. Number one, because Dawn she's one of the most humble people that you will ever know and will ever meet. So having her, share all of this, of course, and I know it's because we're in this on this platform. We're sitting here because when Dawn and I are in each other's company, Dawn is not telling me about what she's doing, just like I'm not telling her, about what I'm doing. That's not what we do. But
Right.
it's a beautiful thing. It's really beautiful, and I love, like, again, sharing the spotlight, letting others know that, hey, this is who we are.
Yeah.
This is who we are as a people. This is what we do. This is from where we come. And West Philly, stand up, because you said West Philly.
Philadelphia, born and raised, absolutely. This
You
is
said
what.
nobody complained, okay, of those all day sessions. Okay. So
Yeah.
so okay, so you said at some point
Oh,
you
so yeah.
decided, yeah, no, because I want to
So I'll
share
tell you when the
everything.
shift happened. The shift was very subtle, if the shift existed at all, because again,
Okay.
music was just there for the having. And my parents' approach was also, I think I know that they recognized me as a creative,
Mm-hmm.
very
Mm-hmm.
young. I wrote poetry as soon as I, could talk, and was writing short stories. So in one of these rehearsals, they got stumped, and I was about, I would say 8.5. They got stumped, and they were, going through these lyrics, and the lyrics weren't fitting. And by then I had bookloads of, which
Mm.
is it is unusual. I'm not going to downgrade it. I do believe that there, within my family, a lot of our artistry happened very young, and so I do believe there was prodigy there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I claim that as a part of, like, my family history, because my mom was touring, you know, uh, dancing and touring as a ballet, uh, classical ballet dancer, tap dancer, very, very young. My dad, his hits that he had, I love it. um, his hits came at 13 years old. His first you know big records. My brother and I touring with our parents and being on stage. And so I say that to say, by 8.5 or so, I'm watching this rehearsal. They're stumped, and I assisted them. I said, "Yeah, how about this?" And I went on to, like, give the lyrics, and it seemed very easy for me. And so I got just, a small bit of affirmation. And I remember the next day, joining rehearsal again. And so I have this entire song that I've written, verses, choruses. I sing it to them, and they go on to record it and release it. So
Wow.
published work was at 9. So the song came later that year, and it wasn't. Nobody knew it really. I mean, my name is attached to it, but there, uh, to give you some understanding about, like, the expectation, or just, the space where we were allowed to create. There was not this moment that looked like, oh my gosh, you're so young. How did you, you know,
Right.
like, and what I was writing about, they were the I'm going to say the reinvention of
Mm-hmm.
my dad's first band in the 50s, like well before I arrived, was doo-wop based, and then it was they reinvented themselves with Congress Alley in the 70s. And so, that's Fur Baby.
Yes, Chloe is upset in the moment. I'm terribly sorry.
Listen, I want to interview as well. Somebody, I got something to say.
Yes.
But that said, yeah. So here it is. They were this band that was like a fifth dimension. They had a very, if you could say, songs for social good.
Mm-hmm.
It was that type of thing. It was like that Marvin Gaye type energy, But that's always, I've always, since I'm very young, I've been thinking about, equity and justice
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. So I wrote this song for them that they recorded. But no one made, the point is, no one made a big deal. It wasn't like, oh my God. It was that you're talented, but there
Mm-hmm.
was this expectation, like, of course you're thinking about those things. So um, I'm going to say the lyrics. Can I tell you the lyrics?
Please share, please.
They probably sound a bit immature for, but
You're 9.
I was 8.5.
You're
So,
8.
but here's the thing. So the lyrics are, it's called Montgomery Bay. And so
Montgomery
it's
Bay.
down on Montgomery Bay lived a man who, oh, okay. So let me give a little preface and say, at that time I was thinking about homelessness and just kind of that juxtaposition of me walking down the streets of West Philly and encountering, folks that were dismissed, whether they were alcoholics, or, what we call back in the day, like wino, like there was an invisibleness about who they were. But for me, I was touched by their experience, and I didn't see them as separate so much. It was just I was very curious about who that person was, and if they were always there, on the street,
Mm-hmm.
or they were always not functioning, or what the deal was. So it's called Montgomery Bay, and that's the premise of it. But it goes, down on Montgomery Bay lived a man who was very nasty. He never looked around or said anything to me. But every day around 3, you would see him going out for his bottle, and all the children used to laugh when they saw him stumble. But like the old man said, nothing proud and nothing shame, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and there can't be no life without pain. And I felt that in the song, and my parents wondered, like, wait, what?
At 8, wait, Don?
Oh,
Okay, first of all, let me say that I appreciate so much that you're there. It sounds as if there was absolutely no pressure. There was nothing but encouragement of your creativity
yeah,
and
it
of
was
your thought
very,
process. And
yeah,
that was that, that I guess that is one of the advantages of growing up with
mhm,
creatives as parents, because
yeah,
there's a different level of encouragement for your gifts and your talents, and a
right.
different level of respect for them as well. But at 8.5, now let me tell you something. Here's the thing, which is so funny, because you and I are like because I was going to run away to stay with this homeless woman when I was when I was about that age. I told my mother she didn't have anyone to take care of her. So I
Oh,
was I was going.
listen.
So it does. First of all, knowing you, it does not surprise me. But
Mhm.
listening to the lyrics,
Yeah,
oh my
I really
goodness.
got that, and I really felt, you know, just this where people have an
Mm-mm.
awakening, and I do think there was something spiritual going on as well. I mean, I'm not going to downplay it. There was definitely something spiritual going on. I've always felt very connected. I've always was very connected to my intuition.
Mhm.
Very, very always connected to prayer. You
You're a
know,
caregiver too, though. Deep at your core,
yeah,
you are such a caregiver,
hmm
and
yeah,
that you demonstrate that in everything that you do and that you are, which I love. It's one of the things I just love about who you are. But that let's see, now I'm going to go and look. What was the name of the song? Where can we find it? Montgomery Bay?
I hope you can. Montgomery Bay. Yeah.
Montgomery Bay. I'm going to look. Because the lyrics alone, they were so. Yeah. Oh my goodness, you poor baby. I can only imagine, because my mother had to sit me down and talk with me because I started bringing the lady food, and so I'm sure your parents did something very similar. I want to take a minute though, family. If you've just tuned in, thank you so much for joining us. You're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We've been talking with Dawn Thompson Morelli, aka DONN T, and we're going to take just a short moment, catch our breath, okay? And we're going to be right back. Stay with us.
I remember this one moment. I ran to kind of the water edge, and my mom said something along the lines of like, now it's your turn. Take that first step. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. There's some light within her that makes me continue to do the climate science work that I do. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. As moms, we care about our children and the environment they grow up in. And for Mia, I want you to know that I worked really hard to be a part of the change and to make it a better place for you.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it. Did you have any idea that was going on?
None. I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night too. Did you have a clue?
No, but you know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. And I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
We're often influenced by what we see or hear on social media. Beware of disinformation campaigns targeting Black communities by using cultural issues to incite divisions, spread false information, and negatively influence public opinions. We're in this together, and together we can stay informed and empowered. Learn more at nbcit.org. This public service announcement is from the National Black Cultural Information Trust.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side. By your side. And every day is a different day. Everything is in everything. Even when you think things can never ever be the same. Don't be scared of the world, I'll be here to stay. By your side. Even when your heart ain't listening, or your mind takes you a different way, towards a different path. All you gotta do is sit
When the adults in a child's life talk early and often about the dangers of underage drinking, the message gets stronger every time.
I'll be by your side.
Talk. They hear you.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent Black media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. So we've been talking with Don Thompson Morelli, aka Donn T. And just before the break, Don was sharing with us about this incredible song that she wrote at 8.5 years of age. I told her I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. Okay, I am going to find it.
Send it to you.
Oh my goodness!
I'll look through the archives.
It sounds so amazing. And I'm fearful that I'm going to sit here and cry. And you know, the funny thing though was that I was going to ask you if you and your parents and your brother, like if you had all created anything together. It was so funny. So you shared that story because that song came from.
Yeah.
I was curious to know.
Oh yeah. It was, I mean, we were the family band for 5 years. You know, that's what breaks from school would be. So, you know, my parents are,
wow.
And then summers, where, you know, I don't know what, you know, most folks are doing. They're, you know, either on the block or at camp or day camp or whatever it is. We were, you know, on tour with our parents. Me, you know, singing back up, and Amir playing drums. So
let me tell you how that sounds like heaven to me. That sounds like heaven. That's what that sounds like. That sounds like heaven to me.
I'll it was beautiful in that there is no other foundation that I would have desired, because there was so much discipline. You know, I mean, we know as artists, you know, people see the final product. What goes into touring and, you know, being on the road for however many weeks, you know, and back then you could, I mean, my parents toured for a living. They were on tour 50 weeks out of the year. Like it was Christmas and New Year's week where they weren't touring. So, you know, the amount of, in order to maintain that, to maintain your voice, to maintain your health, you know, to keep your Black from not cracking, there's, you know, the rest and all of it, you know, they were those artists that weren't, you know, they didn't live that hard life. It definitely was, you know, this is our industry. And so we have to, in order to maintain and have longevity, there's a way that we have to approach this. So I would not have given that up at all, but it was definitely an interesting, you know, experience to, you know, just kind of be with your parents.
Yeah, you know, I'm thinking and digesting that, digesting all of that. You're talking about being the family band. There's so much to get from that. I mean, when you talk about your familial relationship, your relationship with your brother, your relationship with your parents, you guys as artists together, not just one of you, but all of you, and as you mentioned, the discipline, you know, in this, I mean, it's a career, it's a gift, but it's also a line of work. So there's so much, the work ethic that you learned, but also knowing that you, because I'm going to take this moment to segue, knowing that you are a wife, a mother, and an artist, as well as a businesswoman, an author, and the list goes on.
Right.
I can only imagine what you learned from your parents, watching them like navigate their relationship in the industry, in life, please. Well, I'll tell you this because we have just a few moments before we go to break, but we're going to start this. We're going to start this now and then continue when we come back. So please do share, Don.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. You said so much. And I feel like I want to jump in on a bit of it. I have this recognition that I've always worked with the people that I love artistically, creative. I've worked with my family. I've worked with my brother. He and I have, done projects, a ton of projects together. I work with my family as a whole. I work with my husband, so because he too is an artist, producer, guitarist. So it's interesting because you have to take that hat off. I say family band, but all of the folks that I'm working with are seasoned professionals. So when we walk into the room, and that can be tricky, we're walking in as, these seasoned, disciplined professionals. And it's not, that's not my brother there. That's my colleague. That's not my mom. That's not my dad. That's my colleague. It's not my husband. It's my and we are that, but we're more. And you definitely have to have tough skin, because we sometimes you have to say some things. They're like, oh yeah, then I don't think that resonates, especially when you're collaborating. And it falls differently, when you have to cook dinner after.
Right.
Or you're going, with your brother. It just gets tricky. Like
I can only imagine.
Six in one hand, half dozen
in the other.
Absolutely.
I say that all the time.
And then you can become also easily distracted, because there is that family element. And then there's just stuff where you want to be sharing in a family space, especially given who we all are in our busy lives. It's like, okay, when we get to have time together, we have to also, if it's a project, we have to complete that, but we also have to get family stuff in at the same time. So it can be challenging, but I wouldn't have it, any other way.
I can only imagine. It made me chuckle when you said, you having creative differences, and then you're going to you have to go cook dinner, right? We're like,
right.
Trying to.
I don't think that beat's gonna work.
No.
Nobody's saying that. Only your sister is saying that, or your wife. I'm like, can you shift that? That's like, who's?
I know.
My husband is. I don't know how much longer I have to jump into some of this, but as you said, I am bonus mom to a beautiful college student, daughter who's doing really well.
Wait. I want to stop you for 1 second, Don. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm caught up in my laughter because family, let me share this with you. Don's bonus daughter, her daughter is beautiful. She's absolutely beautiful. It's just such a sweetheart. And I recently met her, but she was standing with her dad, and we were all out at an event. And I said, who is she? Who is that? Who is he? Who's talking to him? I immediately went into sister mode. I was like, okay, no, I need to know who she is. I need to know who that, first of all, know what we do. You know exactly what we do, family.
And I appreciate it.
Who is that? The radar, the entire radar, went into full effect. And then Don said, oh, that's my daughter. And then I had to relax because then I became auntie. So it's like, oh, okay. Well, all right. Okay, then I can relax. But family, if you've just tuned in, so we're talking, and we are talking about some good stuff here. So if you've just joined us, you've missed a lot, but we still have so much to share. Don was just talking with us about being a wife, a mother, an artist. We're going to get into you being an author as well, because I want to share with our family members some of that too. But in the meantime, we're just going to take a short break. We won't be long, okay? So stay with us, family, because we are coming right back.
Stand with WURD Radio, Pennsylvania's only black-owned talk radio station. Join the movement to keep the conversations going and amplify the voice of the black community. Show your support. Start or renew your WURD membership today at wordradio.com or call 215-425-7875.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. And I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? Now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player for the Indianapolis Colts. Becoming a running back was no easy task for me. But it's nothing compared to what my amazing mom faces every day. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14 years old. Yet she's always there for me, every step of the way, despite her own battles. And the Muscular Dystrophy Association is there for my mom. At their 150 care centers across the U.S., MDA is the leading organization in research and care for kids and adults with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and related neuromuscular diseases. Their research is helping find cures and save lives. Watching my mom go through her daily struggles and the care she receives from MDA has made me determined to help find a cure for neuromuscular disease. That is why I support MDA, and that's why I'm so grateful to others who do too. Join me and learn more at helpmda.org today.
I remember this one moment. I ran to kind of the water edge, and my mom said something along the lines of like, now it's your turn. Take that first step. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. There's some light within her that makes me continue to do the climate science work that I do. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. As moms, we care about our children and the environment they grow up in. And for Mia, I want you to know that I worked really hard to be a part of the change and to make it a better place for you.
Imagine you on a deserted island all by yourself, or even being in a crowd of people yet still feeling alone. That's what being a victim of sexual assault can feel like. Victims of sexual assault are at an increased risk for developing depression, PTSD, substance abuse, eating disorders, and anxiety. Sexual assault can happen to anyone and is any unwanted sexual contact such as unwanted touching, fondling, groping, or even rape. No always means no, so speak up and speak out. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media. Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, Philadelphia. Black Talk Media.
Welcome back. You are tuned into the top of the second hour of Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We've been talking with none other than Dawn Thompson Morelli, aka DONN T, and she's been sharing so much of her life and her family's legacy, which is an amazing legacy, one that I think you should all know, because it's just such a beautiful legacy. In any event, before we went to a commercial break, I was asking Dawn to talk with us about being a wife, a mother, an artist, an author, a creative, navigating all of that together. But what we did not mention was that Dawn is in an interracial marriage. So I would like for you, Dawn, if you don't mind, to share with us, just share with us. I'll say it, I'll leave it there with an ellipsis. Share with us.
Absolutely. My husband is Jake Morelli, producer, guitarist Jake Morelli. Many people know him from his work with Bruno Mars, the Jonas Brothers, the Roots, Ed Sheeran. He's worked with Neo and Roberta Flack and Queen Latifah, Music Soul Child, Kindred. The list goes on and on. He definitely is an it guy. And in addition to that, he's an Italian American. And so we're in an interracial marriage. And my bonus daughter, Soren, she is, a product of his and another relationship. The woman was not African American. She's a white woman. And so it's been a very rich journey for me. At this point, it's a very, I look at where we are in society right now. First of all, I have a lot to say on this issue. And I heard someone, Jennifer Lewis, I think, I heard her recently say that we're not in a dark time, that we're in a time of awakening. And that really resonated with me because, on the surface, it's a very tricky time for Black Americans in the U.S. And, as a woman, it's a very tricky time in America.
Indeed.
And, it's also a very tricky time for those of us who are loving and, happily connected, married, related, have life partners to people who don't share our ethnicity. And the reason I say that is, some of what's been on my heart recently is, the Supreme Court. I have this thing going through my head right now about Anita Hill and how, like, earlier on, she tried to tell us what was up.
She sure did.
Game. And some of what we are, and of course, all of this does not fall on Clarence Thomas, because there's a whole brotherhood that exists in the Supreme Court or on the Supreme Court. But when people tell you who they are, believe them the first time. And I just imagine, the creative in me, just to imagine that, over the last few weeks, as various things have been unraveling. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about, community and, how we talked about banding together and how we're more powerful as we stand, and how we don't really have the luxury to say, well, that's their issue, but this is my issue. And when they decide to come over here, then I'll kind of get outraged and I'll take a stand. But how right now it's more important than ever to be awake and aware of all of what's happening. So it was in 1967, that Loving versus Virginia.
Yes.
Um, came to be, and it was one of the most significant legal decisions of the civil rights era up to that point. And what it did was declare Virginia's anti-miscegenation law unconstitutional. So the Supreme Court ended prohibitions on interracial marriage and dealt a pretty major blow to segregation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this week, the court, has expressed plans, or last week, they expressed plans to overturn something. And folks are not, we're awake for it on the back end, but we're not really understanding a lot of what's happening. So what happened is, of course, Roe versus Wade was overturned, and so the next on the docket is same-sex marriage. And so what happens is the way that same-sex marriage came to be was, and that's referred to as the Obergefell versus Hodges decision. The way that came to be is that it cited Loving versus Virginia. So when the Supreme Court is saying we're about to turn over Obergefell versus Hodges, what will kind of be swept in along with that is this, and unless something is done, Loving versus Virginia, so that not only will that be illegal, but and people are not awake for it. Legal partnering with between couples that don't share ethnicity will actually be taken along with that. And what's curious, we're hearing about, for wherever you stand on the issue, that, if we are a country who is about pro-life, then we're looking at we're looking and interested in having conversation around gun laws. We're interested in having the conversation about injustice as it relates to Black men and Black people with police, the criminal justice system. We're really interested in having those conversations. So when we're not having, interested in that conversation, then what is it that is the real problem? And, many have speculated that the problem is the browning of America. So, with this, the dissolution of Roe versus Wade, some of the ideas and some of what has been expressed, the senator, expressed that, thank you for saving, white children, white, babies. And that was what she expressed.
Yeah.
So if that is the mentality, of course, I'm sure some are interested in making, marriage not accessible for same-sex couples. But could it be we're actually trying to get to the browning of America through Loving versus Loving? So there's a lot that, will be unfolding in the next months or
Agreed.
so that people will be surprised about. And
Well, how does that make you feel?
Oh, it's horrifying. It's horrifying. I am happily loving in a beautiful marriage, a very fulfilling marriage, for the last 10 years. We've been together for 11 years, and we're having to, have conversations, as well as, a few of my friends that share our status that look like, okay, well, the way that this plays out is, if in fact this is overturned and our relationship is not recognized in certain states and recognized in others, there's an accident on the road and we're traveling. We we do have reasons to be in Oklahoma and
Mm-hmm.
all over. We're artists. We're where we need to be. And something occurs where I'm injured or you're injured, and either of us have to navigate the other's care. We need to have something additional. We need to have a contract of sorts that we've come up with outside of that, so that we're
Mm-hmm.
protected. So it changes the game in a really
Drastically.
significant way. Um, and okay, go ahead. You have a
No,
question.
no, no, not so much a question, but I it is very hard for me to digest that in 2022, 6 months away from 23, that this is where we are, that these are the conversations we're having, that these are the real life experiences that we're having, and that we are still in the midst of a fight for rights.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Carol, the way that I look at it is that this is the unraveling. So
Mm,
where I started this was, I don't, even though I'm directly affected by each of those issues as a Black American, as a woman,
mhm.
as someone who is loving someone who does not look like her, ethnically, you know, I see this as, this is the only place we can be for
Mm,
significant change to happen. And is it going to be
mm.
hard? It's going to be extremely difficult. This is the unraveling. The U.S. Is built on, it was developed on stolen land. You know, it,
Indeed.
its systems. Economically, our justice system, our healthcare system. It's contaminated by virtue
Oh,
of the fact, and so when we look at a virus, and so, with that's where we are right now. There's, we're recovering from a pandemic. We're very much in a pandemic. We know
yes.
that viruses, there takes a certain matching of energy, in
Mm-hmm.
order to combat a virus. You have to isolate it, right? You have to treat it.
Mm-hmm.
Goes
Mm-hmm.
unchecked and untreated, it mutates. It may look like it's gone, but it's latent. It's within the system.
I'm glad you said that. You mentioned being awake and being aware now. Do you feel that we are ready now? That we are ready for these conversations and for the fight that we're in?
uh, it doesn't matter if we're ready. It's ready for us.
Well, now
That's
that is
that,
indeed
that
fact.
you know what I'm
That
saying?
is fact.
Yeah.
But I ask that because I'll tell you why I ask that, because I've been having this recurring conversation about how our youth they're more vocal. They seem to be, they're, well, not more vocal, but they have a voice that they are expressing, whether they are fully versed, whether they if they believe it or believe in it, you are going to know it, and you are going to know it to their fullest capability, which I applaud them, and I appreciate the energy. I appreciate that. But it feels like there's an energy that I've not felt in a very long time, particularly like with our demographic. We weren't as vocal, as our parents were, with some
Right.
social issues and all, which is why I was asking, do you think, and now I know the fight has always been ready for us. It's coming for, it's always been there for us.
Right.
It's constant, it's consistent.
Right.
But do you believe that we now at this point in time are actually ready?
Yeah, the way that I'm experiencing this, and as an observer as well as a
Mhm.
participant, I see this as, that this is just happening. So
Mm.
if you're not awake for it,
Mhm.
you're not on the front lines of it, you know, um, that I'm not here saying each of these issues are my issues, because, for me to stand silent with the issues that are coming, and as a Black woman, I'm in the midst, but I'm hypothetically, for anyone else who is passively on the sidelines going like, yeah, well, whatever. I mean, you could say I'm in the church, so I kind of, I'm giving it to God,
Listen, I think that's the best thing to do.
It is. It absolutely is. And, even God said, even Jesus said, faith without works is dead. So we got to be working this,
How about that?
Of faith, it's like you don't have the luxury to not be in the conversation. And, I say all that I said, also saying that I'm fully, I fully believe and have hope for a better future. And it will take, boots on the ground as well as prayers up. And, I've come to that place in my heart, my family, all of my family as well, amidst this, my own husband, my daughter, our family was one where Soren would say, she was in the 3rd grade. She went to school on the main line, and this teacher, it was a white woman who, had some wokeness about her, and gave the class an in-depth into allyship. And this was, this was at a time where Barack Obama was president. So that's kind of who she knew. She came into her experience of understanding, even as a little white girl, that, the president is Black. Like, this is what's happening. We were using, when I say we, I had associates, some Black, that would use the term of the race card like that was an actual thing. We thought we were in a place. All of us did. I did. It was pride, but it was something else. And then it was the uncovering, the reality that you can't really, what we're building on, like something has to happen foundationally. But, here it is, she goes to school and she's like, oh, we're having a test in a week. But I told the teacher I was ready, because it was overt racism, covert racism, appropriation, all of these terms that in our home we talked about, because it was important to me as a bonus mom, a very unique position. We've seen, white women who have adopted Black children, Black and brown children.
Indeed.
The work that goes into that. And it was really important to me as a Black woman that I equipped her to have a voice and to feel affirmed in who she is as a human, but also not just to be, she wasn't going to be a regular white girl out here. She was going to have some knowledge. She was going to be about allyship. She was going to understand what it was and how it's a process. It's not a rival, and that exists, with her and with my husband. And these are conversations that, you talk about, as you grow in love in all marriages, how you choose love and choose to be over and over again. It's not, you don't land in a place and say, okay, this is it. You're always evolving. And, our family, like all families, are doing that same type of evolution. But that was really important for me and for, my husband to see, be a part of her life, that she was, a growing ally. Here.
I say kudos. No, really, what you just said was such a strong statement.
Yeah.
Such a strong statement, and it speaks volumes to your continuing legacy, and it speaks volumes to your relationship, your marriage, your home life. That it means the world to me, because like you just said, you have to have your boots on the ground, and we all need to pull together. And in order to do that, listen, it's important that we're first educated,
Yeah.
that we're educated properly and correctly and have the correct information so that we can move forward in the right way. So kudos to you for being that advocate, for being that woman, for being that educator, for being, the beacon for her, in so many ways, not just in that regard, but as her mom, as her mother. Kudos to you, kudos to Jake. I mean, because it's not just, you guys are a unit. So kudos to the both of you. Family, if you're just tuned in, you are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We are going to take just a short break, and we're going to come back and we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about some other things with none other than Don Thompson Morelli, aka DONN T. So stay with us, okay? And we'll be right back.
April is National Poetry Month.
Transformation begins. Boom, boom, boom. Transformation begins. Boom, 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 boom. Why does this poetry pulsate within me with the intensity of 1,000 hearts? I could write this in 1,000 parts and still might not understand why these prophecies of poetry funnel through me like cases that just attracts. My lyrical erection would never retract, cause my poetry is hard, but soft enough to make Master P drop a tear. Nah. I say, holla if you hear me, cause Ivy got the hook up on heavenly passes with no need to pass the plate for offering to whoever's congregating. I'm off in eternity without segregating souls and like the city. I'm an itty bitty kid in this worldly litter, but my litter will pollute this vast mass of trash and filthy with poetic positivity. Putting holes in your holes on the bash negativity. My words need no promotion, so maybe I should sign with relativity. I got more tips and gratuity, so I'ma continue this like continuity aboard a continental flight across the continents. I represent like Olympians taking victory laps. Wave my red gold pen in the atmosphere. My words are record breaking. Transformation. Transformation ends.
That was Vintage J. Ivy on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Yeah! Sam, Elmo!
Oh, hey, Julia. You ready to play band with us? I'm going to play my clarinet.
And Elmo's going to play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
Mm-hmm. With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Black Americans have died of COVID-19 at over 2 times the rate of white counterparts. This is due to systemic racism and healthcare disparities. Here are some tips for protecting yourself. Wear a mask covering your mouth and nose. Avoid crowds. Wash your hands with soap and water. Use alcohol-based sanitizers. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Practice social distancing and follow World Health Organization guidelines. Quarantine if you've been exposed to the virus. Self-isolate if you're experiencing symptoms. Seek medical attention if you experience difficulty breathing, a fever, cough, sudden confusion, or pressure in your chest. If you don't have health insurance or a healthcare provider, try contacting your state health department, community health clinics, or local hospitals for testing and treatment. Together, we can stay informed and empowered. This public service announcement is from the National Black Cultural Information Trust.
When I cross the finish line, it's not just me. I succeed because of others. When I was pregnant, I survived because of others. At 32 weeks, I was diagnosed with preeclampsia and had an emergency C-section. Because my doctor took quick action and my husband was there to help me, I'm alive. Too many women die of pregnancy-related complications, and most are preventable. If you or someone you know is pregnant or recently had a baby, learn the warning signs. It could help save her life. Hear her.
For the Indianapolis Colts. Becoming a running back was no easy task for me. But it's nothing compared to what my amazing mom faces every day. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14 years old. Yet she's always there for me, every step of the way, despite her own battles. And the Muscular Dystrophy Association is there for my mom. At their 150 care centers across the U.S., MDA is the leading organization in research and care for kids and adults with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and related neuromuscular diseases. Their research is helping find cures and save lives. Watching my mom go through her daily struggles and the care she receives from MDA has made me determined to help find a cure for neuromuscular disease. That is why I support MDA, and that's why I'm so grateful to others who do too. Join me and learn more at helpmda.org today.
Hi, I'm Tanya Hopkins, aka the Food Griot, the host of Savory and Sweet, a new show about food, history, and culture. Savory and Sweet is a flavorful exploration of food marinated in the Black experience, seared with history and brazen culture. Each week, I'll fold in conversations that center food and drink at the intersection of business, health and well-being, entertainment, education, and innovation, while separating the facts from fiction on the sometimes surprising origins of what we eat and drink. So join me, the Food Griot, and special guests for Savory and Sweet, Food History and Culture, every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., beginning January 2nd, 2022, exclusively on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent Black media.
Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We've been talking with Dawn Thompson Morelli, aka DONN T. And when I tell you, we just had what I will say, a riveting conversation about social issues. And no, but listen, that's why we're here, because here on Love and Life, we talk about everything with full transparency. And I love that. I love that we do that. But I want to make sure that our family members are completely or as well versed with you as they can possibly be. And because the clock is ticking. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe the clock is ticking. Wow. I want to touch on, or I would like for you to share with us and touch on your life as an author as well. Please share with us.
Yeah, well, what was incredible was, a few years back, I had the honor of being a part of an anthology, contributing as an author to an anthology. The name of the anthology is Behind the Song. It's on Source Books. And the book is a collection of short stories and essays that feature 14 different best-selling authors, writing pieces and songs that have an album as a focus. So you began with a song, and you didn't re-explain the song, or reinterpret it, or you actually created an essay around what might have been going on the perimeters of the song. So it's not an analysis, it's actually a fictional story. So I was really honored to be a part of it. I was one musician amidst about 13 other award-winning authors. It was intimidating, the ask, because these folks had been on the New York Times bestselling list a few times over.
Wow!
But writing is my heart, and I felt like it would be wonderful to have my debut be, to participate in this anthology. So, where that lands me today is that I have been invited to be a part of a project. My good friend and author, Ileana West, based in Washington, the state of Washington, asked me to be one of 15 contributing authors. They are all award winning at this point.
Congrats,
Yeah. So the topic is, some of what we were discussing. It's entitled Loving Hearts, and it's a Loving Day anthology, and so it is 15 authors coming together with the purpose to, serve as tribute to the courage of Richard and Mildred Loving, who were for that Supreme Court decision in 1967. So people can expect that.
Let me say kudos again. I keep saying kudos, but we know that you're such a phenomenal individual, but that is extraordinary. And quite honestly, I'm not surprised. I mean, at 8.5, you were raising consciousness, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah. The writing piece is really is home for me. And what's great is like the behind the song, I created some music connected to that, a song called Clear, featuring Chill Moody, Daru Jones, drummer Daru, Grammy Award winning drummer Daru Jones, who's on tour right now with Jack White, and Ray Angry, of the Christina Aguilera, and all those folks were also part of this song where, I essentially brought this essay that I'd written to life through that. And I've actually been requested, in addition to contributing some thoughts and some words to the project, there'll be some music attached to that as well. So
I love it.
Excited. Yeah.
I love it. So, okay, you're an author. You're an all around creative. But tell me, or tell us, please, about your decision to create Detone Victorious, and also about your collaboration with Chill Moody. So, with And More.
Right.
So, please tell us about all of that.
Okay, yeah. So, very interesting journey, the development of my label. Folks had been telling me at a point where, so many of us have labels right now and are, distributing music however we can through major distribution, through major labels, or, just independently, and self distributing, that sort of thing. So, but at a time where that wasn't as popular, I was told that, the way that you are, the woman that you are in music and the leader that you are, you could very easily, launch your own label. And so this probably it could have been around about 12 years ago, something like that. And what's curious is that Jake was a part of my band at the time, and we weren't, dating or anything like that. We had a conversation afterwards. It was after a show at the TLA. We were on the bill with Marsha Ambrosius. And so he'd been a part of the band for a year, says, afterwards, has a conversation with me that looks like, hey, do you know what red is? And at the time, I didn't. I thought a color, and he said, "No, Red Distribution is the CEO is my uncle, Bob Morelli, and I've been a part of your band for a year, and I watched the way you do business, and have you thought about launching a label?" And I thought about it again. People told me that this is something that should be a part of your life. So we took a trip to New York. I had a conversation with his uncle, who, an incredible man, and is a professional in the music industry. So he didn't have a lot of time. I sat down. He instantly, gave me the truth. He said, "Look, I don't typically sign individuals. You have larger and blah blah blah, whatever." We played some songs. He's like, "I love this music," and I could tell that there was a pull. He said, "But I don't know. You'd have to. I can't just sign you as an individual. You'd have to be a label," is what he said. So because it's major. Red at the time was major distribution. I went away. A year later, came back, launched my label, and you pitched him. And he said, against his better judgment, he typically would not sign one woman in a room to a major distribution deal. It would be an enormous amount of work that I'd be responsible for. But he felt in his heart he should make the exception. What's very curious is by now, Jake and I had started dating. People would think, okay, now that's the end. But as someone who is a part of a family of professionals, that in fact is the hardest position to be in, because you have to show up with a level of excellence that is required of you. So, fast forward, over the last 11 years. And yes, I've launched my own music on the label. I also launched And More. And More is my pet project with rapper Chill Moody. We sing songs of social change. Our debut album, Ethel Bobcat, did incredibly. We've Tiny Desk, And More, Chill Moody, and DONN T. On the album is Belial. Let's see. It's Jay Ivy. We heard Jay Ivy and Chuck D. Yeah, so it's incredible, and I have more music of my own coming out on the label, but my label as well this year, and really quickly, Red has, of course, dissolved into the Orchard. So, and and that's where
so much in everything that you just said. I'm
trying to get it all out.
No, and I want you to do so. I would love to have you and Jake come back and talk with us.
We would, and I'm moving right now. As we're going to keep it real. My computer is on its last battery, so that's what I'm doing. So we get.
Listen, you already know. I know you already know. So Don and I always say, at any time, at any given time in a conversation that she and I are having, we always say, "Now we keep it real," because there's something that is going on or something that happens. I mean, you all have seen and have heard my co-host Chloe Chanel. You've seen her running around in the back of me. You've heard her, so you all know. There's nothing but real here. Okay. I'm sure you've seen her napping as well. But no, I would love to have you and Jake talk with us about home life, talk with us about being a couple of creativity, talk with us about all of your endeavors. But since we are concentrating on you today, I want to continue the conversation about you starting your label and you with Chill Moody. Now, how did well, actually, let me say this too. I want to make sure that our family members are aware that And More is ampersand more.
It's ampersand, exactly. Ampersand, MORE.
Yes.
So ampersand is the and sign, MORE.
Yes.
And then Chill Moody and DONN T. And so, and it's actually on all platforms. So here's an interesting note, is we're on all platforms, all the usuals, Spotify, you name it. We learned that Apple Music, they don't recognize it's just special characters. So guess what? We're there, but we're there as More.
Really?
Different name on Apple. So people, you MORE, Chill Moody and DONN T, and you'll find the music, but we're actually and more.
Dawn, let me tell you how I did not know that, but that's interesting that you would say that because it is a special character. So it would be considered a symbol to them, I imagine.
Yeah.
Wow. So family, again, let me repeat to you for our family members who were wondering what we were saying. We were not saying and more. We were saying and more. And is represented by the ampersand. But Dawn was making it clear that Apple does not recognize the ampersand. So you would have to search for more. Search for Chill Moody and DONN T. Search for DONN T. Okay, that's what you would do. You would search for DONN T and you will find them. In the meantime, though, we're going to take another break and we're going to come back and we're going to finish talking about some things. Oh my goodness, I'm going to breathe and I'm going to invite you to do so. Stay with us though, family, okay? Because that's what we do, right? That's how we show our love. We stay together. We'll be right back.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
We're often influenced by what we see or hear on social media. Beware of disinformation campaigns targeting Black communities by using cultural issues to incite divisions, spread false information, and negatively influence public opinions. We're in this together, and together we can stay informed and empowered. Learn more at nbcit.org. This public service announcement is from the National Black Cultural Information Trust.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side. By your side. And every day is a different day. Everything is in everything. Even when you think things can never ever be the same. Don't be scared of the world, I'll be here to stay. By your side. Even when your heart ain't listening, or your mind takes you a different way, towards a different path. All you gotta do is sit and ask. When you need me, I'll be by your side.
When the adults in a child's life talk early and often about the dangers of underage drinking, the message gets stronger every time.
I'll be by your side.
Talk. They hear you.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it. Did you have any idea that was going on?
None. I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night, too. Did you have a clue?
No, but you know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
Hey
family. I'm Carol Riddick.
And I'm Donovan West. And we're the hosts of Love and Life, a new show about,
well, love and life.
This show is an informative, entertaining, and refreshing take on the hard conversations about love and life.
Each day, we'll provide real facts and honest opinions on dating, sexual health, casual, and committed relationships.
These late night conversations will be served on a judgment-free platter and seasoned with unapologetic realness.
So join us Sunday night through Thursday night at midnight on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent Black media.
Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We're talking with DONN T, aka Dawn Thompson Morelli. She was sharing with us before the break about her label, creating her label, how it came to be. She was sharing. I actually asked about her collaboration with Chill Moody. Let me tell you, this woman, if you're just joining us, there's so much to know about her, so much to learn about her, and 2 hours just isn't enough time. Okay. We were also talking about her marriage, her relationship with her husband. She shared about being in an interracial relationship and living and navigating 2022 and soon to come 2023. So family, you already know that I've invited them to come back and talk with us and share some more just about life in general and about coupledom, in today's society. But Don, like I said, 2 hours just goes by so quickly when we start talking about everything. It always amazes me. But I'm going to ask you, number one, if you can share with our family members your social that you'd like for them to know, because I want them to be able to find you. And then if you'll also remind us what's next. So we'll go with your social first.
Absolutely. So my social on IG, on Instagram, is at DToneVic, and that's spelled DTONEVIC, at DToneVic. It looks like at DT1VIC. Oh. So however that shows up in your mentals, that's there. And you can find my link tree there, and it lays out everything. My newest single with I'm gonna say, Black Fairy Girl sister, Grammy nominated producer, Black woman producer, Georgia Ann Muldrow, and I did something over, the pandemic, a song called Can't Let Go, that people should definitely check out as well. What I have coming up next, let's see, folks may be aware of, or should be aware of, PBS's Finding Your Roots with Henry C. Louis Gates. And so it was somewhat recently that my brother, Amir Questlove Thompson, got his genetics done and our family's genetics, and so much was revealed. Well, what's happening is there's a sequel to that show, and it's called Finding Your Roots, Family Reacts. And I'm a special guest, featured guest, and they, delve into, what now, what happened next, after all of this information was revealed.
Oh my! And so that's on PBS.
It's actually going to be a web series, so it's going to be easier than that. And what happens with Finding Your Roots is their biggest viewership is actually the web series. So people think that they wait till they watch it on PBS, but the web series is where they have their largest viewership. So it will be there, and I'll be able to announce that soon on my website. And I have new music coming out this fall, collaborations with my husband, Jake, producer, guitarist, as well as some other really sweet collaborations that I'll announce. These are surprises. I have some secrets, some stuff up my sleeve, but people can look for new music from DONN T.
We are excited for all of it. Let me just say that we are excited for all of it. We're looking forward to everything that you will write, because this will not be the last on Source Books. That will not be the last. So we know we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to the music you will create, the collaborations. I want
and Loving Hearts really quickly. Loving Hearts is next a release for next year.
Say that one more time.
Loving Hearts.
Loving Hearts.
The Loving Anthology that I referred to earlier will be released next year. And so I have the date, but I can't access it. But, of course, I'll put it up on social media.
But I mean, we have your social, we have your IG now, so we're going to follow, and on there we'll go to your link tree, so we will have access to all of your information. Okay. But I want to say too publicly that your entire family, congrats and kudos to each and every one of you for living in your truth, for walking in your entire truth and owning your legacy and continuing it. We're enjoying every bit of it. We are, those of us who are standing on the sidelines are enjoying every bit of what you and your family have done and are continuing to do. Thank you again. Thank you again for being the woman that you are. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for, coming and hanging out here on the show. Family, you already know, I hate when this time of the show comes, because I hate to leave you guys, but it's just temporary. It's a temporary thing. But in saying that, I want to make sure that you stay in touch with Dawn. You have her socials. You know where to find her. Go look at the Tiny Desk concert of her and Chill Moody and more. That's ampersand more. Okay, I want to make sure we're clear on that. Because I think that's what it's all about. Support. It's all about demonstrating our love and support to one another. But again, it's that time. Tear, sniff, sniff. But
thank you for having me, Carol.
What? Are you kidding me?
Just went. I don't understand it.
It just wasn't enough, right? It just wasn't enough. There's so much more to talk about. We've got so much to talk about. But I want to extend and express my gratitude for each and every one of you, our family on our socials, everybody that is listening. Thank you for spending your time, your energy, and your attention with us. We appreciate you and we love you all the more for it. Thank you to my entire WURD family and to my alternating co-host, Donovan West. Thank you. There's always love. And a special thank you again to our guest, Don Thompson Morelli, aka DONN T, and to the Thompson and Morelli families. Okay. Give Soren some kisses for me. Family. What can I say? Don and I were talking. We were saying there's so much going on and there's so much that we're all navigating. What I did not say to you at the start of the show that I typically like to say is that I'm keeping you and yours in prayer. I'm always sending you some extra love and some extra light because we can all use it. And just in case yours is a little dim right now, I'm sending you oodles more. Okay. Because I think it's necessary. And I want you to know that you are loved. You are necessary. and you have a tribe. You have a tribe. So I want to encourage you to have a great night, have a great morning, and have a great rest of your day. Remember, though, we're all in this together, okay? So be good to you, but be good to those around you. That's important. Make sure you join us at midnight every night, Sunday through Thursday, for another edition of Love and Life on WURD. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Hi, I'm Tanya Hopkins, aka the Food Griot, the host of Savory and Sweet, a new show about food, history, and culture. Savory and Sweet is a flavorful exploration of food, marinated in the Black experience, seared with history and braised in culture. Each week, I'll fold in conversations that center food and drink at the intersection of business, health and well-being, entertainment, education, and innovation, while separating the facts from fiction on the sometimes surprising origins of what we eat and drink. So join me, the Food Griot, and special guests for Savory and Sweet, Food, History, and Culture every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. exclusively on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. And I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? Now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
Julia, you ready to play band with us? I'm gonna play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still has to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
I remember this one moment. I ran to kind of the water edge, and my mom said something along the lines of like, now it's your turn. Take that first step. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. There's some light within her that makes me continue to do the climate science work that I do. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. As moms, we care about our children and the environment they grow up in. And for Mia, I want you to know that I worked really hard to be a part of the change and to make it a better place for you.
Sam, Elmo.
Oh, hey, Julia, you ready to play band with us? I'm gonna play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.